A live look at the state capitol right now. Governor Newsom claims he and state lawmakers have an agreement to help close the state's big budget deficit, but his office isn't providing many details.
KCRA 3 Capitol correspondent Ashley Zavala has been following these talks for the last several days, and Ashley, seems like they're getting started on this pretty early.
Yeah, Ty and Andrea, just to take a step back for a second, normally these budget talks ramp up in the summertime before the new budget year starts on July 1st, but this year is different. They want to take action earlier because of the state's significant budget deficit, which right now, depending on who you ask, which experts in the building you try to refer to, it's either $38 billion budget deficit, according to the governor, or $73 billion, according to the Legislative Analyst's Office. Now, because of that, the governor and lawmakers have both agreed to open up this current budget year's books to make some changes and some tweaks to soften the impact of what that big deficit would be for that upcoming budget year. So let's first take a look at what the governor had to say about this first. Now, he claims a deal on early budget action has been reached, but my sources in the legislature are saying not so fast. So the governor is saying, he says this will address up to $18 billion worth of the deficit. But again, we have no details on how exactly that would happen. In a statement, he said California is stepping up with a balanced approach that will take a significant chunk out of the projected shortfall. Despite the uncertainty due to a federal tax deadline delay last year, historic reserves and fiscal responsibility will assure a balanced budget that meets California's needs. But Assembly Speaker Robert Reifus seems to be painting a different story, suggesting that more work needs to be done. So here's a statement from him. He says, in part, the Assembly's budget work continues, including more than 24 budget and oversight hearings scheduled next month. There are tough choices on the horizon, which is why our process is so critical. Now, Republicans in the state Senate continue to criticize the closed-doorness around these talks of the budget process. Republican State Senator Roger Niello, who's also the vice chairman of the Senate's Budget Committee, he released a statement today. He said, "I am disappointed in this administration on behalf of the people of California. Not allowing public discussions or different viewpoints to weigh in is a disservice to the millions of Californians we represent and an erosion of democracy." Now, all of this comes as Governor Gavin Newsom has spent back-to-back days coming up here to the state capitol, which is abnormal because his office is in a different building. He has come to this building Monday and Tuesday to meet with legislative leaders to try to sort out a deal. And so this is where they stand, apparently. Now, we've been in the rotunda all day today, and we saw no sign of him today. What is clear is that they all agree to move early, sometime within the next month or so. They all agree to take a significant chunk out of that state budget deficit. But what they do not agree on just yet is how exactly to do that.
Yeah, they got to get ahead of this. Ashley, going back to Senator Niello's statement, can you explain a little more why he's saying the process is secretive?
Yeah, so typically, and especially since the pandemic, there used to be what's called a budget conference committee, for example, where both parties, Republicans and Democrats, were represented. And what would happen behind closed doors, some of these closed door caucus talks, those would be discussed in the open before really voting on the big ticket items. Now, what's been happening lately since the pandemic is basically the governor and then the Democratic leaders of each house get together. It's a handful of people, and they determine what's going to come up for a public vote. That is the process that Republicans are criticizing. Republicans for the last several years have been saying they should be a part of these conversations. They have also been saying that they are the ones that warned that California might be in the situation that they find themselves in now.
All right, Ashley Zavala live at the Capitol. Thank you. And